fire burns and flames rise up in the internal position, that is the part called the Avapasthana. Do your Ahuti of Ajyabhaga, says the second sloka. No, Mundaga is a part of Atharva Veda, as I already said, but it is also a part of the Yajurveda. Yajurveda developed in the Atharva's mind. So it is also part of the Yajurveda. The actions, the Kriya is being described. In Yajurveda, one Ahuti without any mantra, that is in total silence, is given to Prajapati. Two Ahutis called Agarams are given for Indra. Then one each separately given for Agnideva and Somadeva. And this is known as Ajyabhaga. So the middle position of these is called the Avapasthana. You give the Ahuti on certain places, and the middle of these places of Ahuti is called the Avapasthana. There you have to do the Ahuti for the divine beings, the Deva, and it has to be in a silent way, without any mantra. This Agnihotra is difficult to be performed because along with this karma, one has to follow several other systematic laws and regulations in one's own life. Without performing those dharma and actions, just by doing an Ahuti, one does not get the effects of the Ahuti, which is only a action or a karma. So what are these systematic, ritualistic laws that is followed by a person who does Agnihotra? The second sloka says, they are the Darsham, Purnamasam, the Chadurmasyam, the Agrayanam, the Aditi Puja, the Hudam, the Vaishyadevam. All this has to be performed. Without doing them, if one performs Agnihotra, or if one does Agnihotra not according to the prescribed laws, all 7 worlds of Punya will be lost. So you have to do it systematically. Darsha and Purnamasya are done on new moon and full moon days. If we divide the 12 months into 3 equal parts, so to say these names, they should know the division of the time according to the Chandra Siddhanta or the lunar calendar. No? To say Darsha Purnamasa has to be observed correctly. One person should know what is Darsha and Purnamasa, how the Chandra, the earth and lunar calendar is formed. So this says 12 months divided into 3 equal parts. Each has 4 months. These are named Vaishudeva, Varuna Prakasha, Shagameda in order, these 3 parts. Among them, the 4 months starting from monsoon rain is the Chadurmasya. So all these things are described by just by mentioning that name in that sloka. So before this sloka was written, all these things must have been practiced for very, very long times. No, that is the way you have to understand a nation's literature. Jains called this as Paryushan Parva. Both the Brahmins as well as the Jains and Buddhists have the same system, showing that all this has originated very ancient times. All of them are following that, just the name has been changed. The vow of ahimsa and non-violence, sadharmiga bhakti, that is devotion with dharma, kshamapanam, forgiveness, upavasam, that is not eating food, a vrata, just like you take Ekadashi and all, reciting kirtans and stotra in chaityas and temples for good of the world are common for all sects of India. Some of them go to Shiva temples, others go to Shakti Durga temples, others go to Jain or Buddha temples, so others go to Vishnu temples. Even the Vastu is the same, only the central figure is different. All the other things are same all over India. So all the sects of India follow these systematically in all these typical different geographic periods. In rainy season, the sannyasins do not walk around and visit temples or go to teaching pilgrimages, etc. Because the reason is, at that time, several worms and lower life forms are exposed, because it is the time for their prajanana or increasing their progeny. And at that time they come out in large numbers, and if we walk, we will be killing them unknowingly by our footsteps of the walking person can kill them unknowingly. And with the ahimsa of these people did not allow that to be done. Such a soap that this is what you call the karunya, the kindness, the compassion. So in this period of Chaturmasya, when there is rains, they live in caves. They are natural caves, or maybe built by human beings, whatever. And when people live in a natural cave for years together, for generations together, they make some, when they are sitting there idly, they will do some carvings on it. That is how these cave temples have come up. It is not correct to say that they have come up only in the Buddhist period. Buddhist period means only 500 BC, no? But the human beings have been living in India for 40,000 or even 1 million years back. They were living in caves. They have been making small changes in their arts and their sculptures, and by a very long period it has evolved into the caves that we see today. So this Chaturmasya is lived in caves or in their respective abodes. Agrayana is a vow followed during the Sharad Ritu. Bhagavata gives us a full account of this by the Gopikas in Vrindavan. Chaturmasya and other vows mentioned were not only for sannyasins but for all the grihastha, as we see in the Sangha period epics like Chilapadikara. The Agnihotra without worship of guests is fruitless. That shows Agnihotra is done by the grihastha, not by a sannyasin alone. No, that itself is a evidence for saying that grihasthas has to do Agnihotra. It is not a sannyasi dharma. The question is here asked by Shavanaga, a Mahashaliya. Mahashaliya means a great grihastha. He is one who has done all the vows in orderly, systematic, lawful way, and he is famous for his yajna and adhiti puja. The 7 worlds mentioned in this sloga are the 7 Vyakriti loga, as well as the 7 generation of races. Keeping the person who does the present yajna in the middle position, counting to the back are your father, the grandfather, great-grandfather, like that 7 generations. Then counting forward, the son, grandson, the great-grandson, like that 7 generations. Thus, orderly lawful yajna is for the good of 7 generations behind and before you. You do the yajna, orderly lawful yajna, for the good afterlife of your ancestors and for a good future for your coming generations. That is the way the lawful yajna is good for 7 generations behind and in front. If done unsystematically, if you do half-assed way, what will happen? Definitely it will. We don't know about the harm about the ancient generations, but definitely it will harm your future generations. Your actions will give their reactions to your children, your grandchildren, because if you destroy the nature, it is they who are going to suffer from it. No, so it's very natural. That is why the systematic yajna is important. Agnihotra is a yajna which grows the Agni and energy within. The 7 generations mentioned are the 7 tongues of Agni, as the energy of the Veda. Veda is Vak. Vak is Agni. Agnirvai Vak. So through that word, through that tongues of flame, which you call the Jihva of the Agni, the Veda speaks. So in the next sloga we get the names of those 7 tongues of flame.